Hey everyone. So the last Web 2.0 tool that I wrote about on the wiki was a tool called Nearpod. Now, Nearpod's an interactive presentation tool that can be used to create interactive lessons. In those lessons, you can insert quick activities such as sections to take notes on, quick surveys, and even different exercises that students can take part in to track their progress and understanding throughout their lesson. As a teacher, I have never used Nearpod for my students. However, I have taken part in classes that have used in Nearpod in college at Rutgers, as well as through the tutoring that I work with, seeing the students on their online learning using Nearpod. And Nearpod's really a cool tool in the fact that it can be used synchronously or asynchronously and have the same value either way. When I say that, if you're using it synchronously, you're obviously using it as a teacher's presenting the screen, going through slide by slide in the Nearpod, and having the students following along. Now, the teacher can track and see who's on the Nearpod and where they're at and how they're doing in their progress of it. So the teacher can make sure students are staying on track, and if the student is taking a while to finish up a slide, they can check on and see what the student's struggling with, or if they're just not really working on it. So it can be used really well synchronously, but also can be used really well asynchronously. Now, when I took a course over the summer here at Rutgers, teacher using Nearpod asynchronously, and I really liked how that worked sometimes. As although the presentations could be very long, depending on the content inside of it, it allows you to work at your own pace. So if you didn't want to do the entire lesson in one sitting, you could take it and do 20 minutes, come back to it, and you got to really work at your own pace, which really helped for truly developing the correct type of understanding of the content because you didn't have to, okay, have the constraints of time in a synchronous lesson where you have to get through a certain amount in a certain time. You don't feel yourself rushing because you're really getting to sit with the work and understand the work on a different level. Like I said, some of those exercises that you can use to track progress are I've seen some people use to taking notes slide. So you just read a whole bunch of information, write 5 important facts. You could also do there's surveys. So if you watched a video, did this survey serve the purpose? And then you can have a brief little writing response. You can have overall writing responses. There are so many different exercises and activities that you can implement into your interactive presentations that make it so much more exciting for students to work with. And like I said, one of the biggest draws to it is how effective it can be synchronously or asynchronously and still have a really positive impact on your students and their learning. So when it comes to the Bloom skills, the thinking skills for Nearpod, it's using applying. So you're taking information that you're just being literally given or reading about or learning about on the slides beforehand and applying it to an exercise. So for example, you may create a Nearpod slide where there's two slides of note taking, two slides of notes and notes you've written for the student to read over. And then you may give a short writing response saying, based on this information, how do you feel about this? Or based on this information, answer this question. And the students are then taking the information they just learned and applying it directly to a new task. So Nearpod uses applying mainly as its thinking skill. Nearpod's a fantastic tool for creating and taking part in interactive presentations, and it goes a step above Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint, and it really allows you to get really interactive and really engaging for your students to want to work with, and like I said, asynchronously, really take their time to get the full understanding out of it. I hope you guys like to use Nearpod in the future.